I'm Victoria Cash. Thanks for calling the Lucky Land Hotline. If you feel like you do the same thing every day, press 1. If you're ready to have some serious fun for the chance to redeem some serious prizes, press 2. We heard you loud and clear. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com right now and play over 100 social casino-style games for free. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
Available to players in the U.S., excluding Washington and Michigan. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Another world, another life.
Driftwood the Musical, based on the best-selling memoir, tells the incredible true story of one family's miraculous escape from Nazi Germany. Critics describe it as mesmerising, sublime and stunningly crafted. Our world premiere season sold out. Don't miss out. Book tickets now for the May and June seasons at driftwiththemusical.com.au.
In the spirit of reconciliation, the Theatre Thoughts podcast acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all traditional custodians of the land on which our episodes are recorded.
So you ready for a big night of comedy, yeah?
Welcome to the Melbourne International Comedy Festival.
You're listening to the Theatre Thoughts podcast. If you're a new listener, welcome to the podcast. If you're one of our returning listeners, welcome back to a brand new episode. You can watch a snippet of this week's episode via our YouTube channel or subscribe to our Patreon for $5 a month to get access to the full video, a patron shout-out and earlier access to our episodes. Or if you're stretched on a budget, become a supporter for as little as $3 a month. If you're a fan of the podcast, please leave us a review wherever you're listening from. Share us on your socials, tell your friends at the theatre, stop to tell a stranger on the street, or just be that annoying friend who shares all the best recommendations. You can find all of our content via our Instagram channel at ttpod_official or by following the link in this episode's description. So switch on those thoughts and be sure to subscribe to catch all our new content in 2023. Okay, moving swiftly on to our next segment of our Melbourne International Comedy Festival podcast episode, and I'm very, very excited to talk to these two. We have performers who are writers based in Melbourne. They met in 2005 and they've been performing together ever since in various capacities, including theatre, improv and sketch. They're both teachers and ensemble members at the Improv Conspiracy in both sketch and improv. They've both participated in the Comedy Festival, but this is their first time as a duo act. Please welcome Caitlyn Staples and Tiana Hogben.
Hello. That was so nice. That was so nice.
I'm so glad to have you both on the podcast.
Thank you. We're very excited to chat to you.
Yeah, this is great. So I was kind of, because I keep getting like flooded with requests for the Melbourne Comedy Festival, and I was reading yours, and it just kind of like caught my eye. I guess like your bio about the show, and it just sounded really interesting.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. It is. It's kind of cool. It's very different because we're trying to shove 18 years into one like 55-minute show. I think because it's a lot of truthful stuff, which is not verbatim true. We've made comedy out of it, but I think that's why we decided, because it was the 18th year anniversary of the friendship. That's why this was the year to do the show.
Because 19 doesn't sound as good.
19's not great. No one cares if someone turns 19.
No, you don't have a party for that.
No, you don't, do you? You turn 18 and then it's not until you're 21. You have that gap, hey?
Yeah.
That's it. We'll be too old by the time we're 21. No one wants to see that.
Yeah. That's so funny. So I guess can you give us a bit of a rundown, I suppose, of what the show's about? So it's called 18. Yeah, it's called 18. We just said that. Sorry. It's called 18. So can you give us a rundown of kind of what the main crux of the show is?
Well, I mean, the main crux of the show is us, but in terms of like how it relates to everyone else's, we really want to showcase kind of the power of female friendship, because we've been best friends for 18 years, as it says on the box in the bio. But like we talked to a lot of other people, and they're like, "Wow, I don't remember my best friend from that long ago. Like I lost touch with my best friend," or like they're like, "How did you like stay best friends for that long?" So this show is kind of like us showing us and how we did that for 18 years, and kind of all the things that might get thrown at you in that time, and how you might change as people. Like we met when we were little girls, like we were 12, 13, and now we're 30.
Whatever.
Trust me, I've just turned 30 and I'm just the exact same. I go, oh yeah, just 30, yeah.
So yeah, like you're not the same person that you are when you're like in year 7, when you're 30, but we've still managed to maintain the same relationship. So we wanted to do a show that kind of explores that.
Yeah, and it's been very cool because we are very different people.
We're super different.
And I think that's what as we've been doing it, I'm like, wow, we are so different. How the heck are we still friends? Because we don't have heaps of same interests. No. Like, and probably theatre is something that and performing and that sort of stuff has kept us together. Yeah. But like, Tiana loves such fancy food. I will just have Macca's any meal of the day. I'm fine with that. And it's just very... it's been very cool, but I think that probably those differences and the fact that we have different interests and things is what sort of helped with the longevity of this as well.
Yeah. And so you're both performers as well, like separately as well as together for this show. So you've both performed in the comedy festival for years.
Yeah, so we performed. We're in another sketch group called Hit by Blimp, which is us two and our amazing friend Jaden Mashuli. And we did that from I think 2016 to 2020, I think, that show, that show that was never seen. But yeah, so we did 4 festivals. So we've done the festival thing a few times in different capacities, and Caitlyn's done the other shows as well.
Yeah,
we did another
show with another friend, Scott, and we've also done like some improv and things like that.
We've done a lot of improv and
but just us two, it's been very, very different, like very quick. Like I don't know, we're able to communicate very quickly.
In a very different way. Yeah.
Oh,
okay, no, that sucks.
Yeah, that sucks. Move on.
Yeah,
that's
fascinating.
Funny.
Yeah.
Well, I know when I was down there, I actually only came to the comedy festival like last year because I was embarrassingly had never been to Melbourne because I was off gallivanting somewhere else. And I loved the comedy festival. So I kind of want to make it like a regular thing. But what I found that I guess because like last year was like one of the first years since like the lockdown and everything was kind of like COVID based in terms of the jokes. And do you find that you have connected more ever since like the whole lockdown thing of the past? Do you find like you've grown as performers, or you find you're kind of more quick with each other?
For us, we're the same.
We're probably the same, but I also know that, I don't know, we started to talk about our show that we were going to do before COVID, and it was a hot mess, and the comedy festival got cancelled a week before it was supposed to start, and we were not ready for that. And so we then came back to that show we were going to perform like 2 years later, and it was like reading a fever dream. And so I think maybe when we've tackled this show, we've decided we've like kept, I think we've gone back to like the root of what we find funny. We've kept it simple. We're like trying very, very hard. But no, our friendship like went into a different, we both turned 30 during COVID.
Yeah, we did.
And like Tiana threw me like the best 30th ever. My 29th was when we were like you weren't allowed to do you were only allowed to be
outside for 1 hour,
and you were only allowed to be one person at a time. Wow. And Tiana on my 29th birthday set up like and you're only like 5 kilometers
within 5 kilometers of your home. Yeah.
And Tiana set up this like beautiful walk where I walked like maybe 200 meters with each friend, and then another friend would pop in, and then that one would let me go, and then like everyone did this big relay of like 29th and all gave me a balloon and everything. It was so sweet.
That's so nice.
It was the best. I was just a mess, crying the whole time. But definitely, like, I loved COVID. Quote me.
Or just no, it's going to come to the show now.
It's all about COVID. We can't stop referencing. No references.
There's no references in the show to COVID.
But it was very lovely to see. Like, it's like in terms of you go through phases as friends. I think we both were very good at realizing what the other person, like I knew Tiana was missing connection and things like that, and I was missing, I don't know, being outside and playing around, playing games and things like that, and we both helped each other find ways to do that with all of the restrictions that were around. So yeah,
it's such a crazy time. Like when people talk about it, like it just feels like it was a different. Like, it feels like it was at least 10 years ago, you know? Like, even just listening to you talk about it, I was like, when was that? That was only one. No way.
And honestly, like, I haven't spoken about that for 2 years.
No, like, we just repressed all the memories.
Yeah.
That stuff
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. It probably makes everyone better comedians in the end, isn't it? You just got to laugh through it.
Yeah. But I'd be interested to see how much of the comedy festival is still referencing COVID now that we're a few more years out of it, like, because you're right, the comedy festival you saw, everyone would have been like
fresh
out of COVID. What was that? But now everyone's like, maybe not.
Everyone's like, laugh about something else. Well, I don't know if you give it away in the show. I don't want to like kind of step on the show too much, but could you kind of give us, I don't know, can you tell us the story of where you met? Where did like the friendship begin, or does that kind of tread on the show a little bit too much?
It actually doesn't really, so we can tell you exactly where we met.
Oh, amazing.
It was in year 7. We were both in the same homeroom class, and I was already at that school because it was a prep to year 12 school. So I was already at that school, but Caitlyn started in year 7.
And we were, this is destiny, like name tagged on the table, sat next to each other on the first day.
On the first day.
And it was crazy. But we did not get along straight away. It did take 6 months.
It did take a little while.
Oh, really? You didn't like each other?
No, I didn't like Caitlyn.
I thought Tiana was so cool.
I mean, I was like, this girl's super weird. And the reason was, and it's like such a classic, like little year 7, like little bitch in year 7, like so judgmental. We did this like project. Oh no, there was like an assignment on the board, and the teacher had put up 4 pictures. And the first picture was a picture of an egg, and the second picture was the egg cracking, and then the third picture was a chicken like half out of the egg, and then the last picture was the chicken. And the teacher was like, "Okay, can someone come up and like order these pictures in the right order?" And most people just put them in the order you'd expect. And then Caitlyn went up and like mixed up the order and was like, "Yeah, I think the chicken like comes out, goes back in, and then like hangs out in there." And the teacher was like, "Oh wow, like that's so creative." And I was like, "What a weirdo!
That's stupid. That's dumb.
That's dumb."
And we lived so close to each other, so our walk home was the same. And I would be like, "Tiana, let's walk home." Like I figured that out, and
she figured it out.
We walked together once, and then the next.
No!
And then I saw another day, like Tiana, and she and another friend that lived nearby, Sean, were like hurried away and ran away. And I was it was crazy. But it's so if you don't like. Sometimes you have to work for things, and
it's true.
Eventually, and it actually through like doing a theatre show together.
That's how we
saw that we were both very cool. We both had like it wasn't as weird as I am fun, and we became friends.
That's so cool. It's so funny, isn't it, when you look back and you go, God, I was so judgmental when I was a kid. I used to be just a little small ginger with like the curliest red hair ever. I never want to go back.
And is it so funny because, like, in making this show, we've gone back and found all the photos of ourselves from high school, and I found this, like, video of myself probably shot on a Samsung Razor, and it's just me singing a stupid song, then getting bored of that and giving another friend, just, like, walking over to another friend and giving them a wedgie. I saw that and I was like, I understand completely what Tiana was doing. I was mad. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to be friends with her. That was bananas. But it's very funny to just, we'll tell each other stories and be like, that could have been the truth.
That's great. Well, I guess last thing I kind of want to ask is what exactly like should we expect from the show? Like without like giving away too many surprises, but do you like do a bit of singing, song and dance, or is it more just jokes, or like what do we expect?
There are songs.
3.
There's 3 songs.
3.
You can quote that. You can quote us on that. There's
3.5.
3.5. 3.5. There's 3.5. And there's a little bit of, and then sketches, like big character sketches and pieces, and we tell a little bit of storytelling.
Tell a story of we had some very weird plays we had to perform when we were kids, so that we sort of go back over some of that subject matter and go like, why? And then sketches about like buying your first bra or getting your first period, all that sort of stuff, but also.
And also like
stuff from today,
like clothes that we used to wear. They look crazy on us now. Like the fashion industry is hated for women who are 30 and over.
Have you seen swimsuits lately? They're not for people of our age.
No, and they don't make any other ones.
And then like sending each other emails that are like 6 minutes long and boring, but we
find them interesting, but everyone else is like, this is so boring. Why are you talking to each other this much and giving this much detail?
You gotta let your friend know about your day.
The detail is important.
I do have a friend who does that. She just sends like at least 10 or 15. Oh, she said she sits on the phone with her friend and they don't even speak. The phone's just on. But they'll just like randomly just like go, hey, and they can just go through it like that.
But you do. It's a very nice way to do
it. It's beautiful. That's so cool. Well, I'm keen to come see it because I think I'm actually there during the show, so I'm keen to see it.
Very excited to have you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
It'll be so fun.
Yeah. Well, was there anything you wanted to just plug before we wrap up about the show?
Just please come if you have a bestie. Come with them. I think that would be the fun thing.
Bring your bestie, or bring someone that you'd like to make your bestie.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be good as well.
The place where our show is on is like behind a bar, and it's a really nice bar to hang out with and stuff. So we would love to meet you after the show if you do come.
Yes, definitely.
It'd be really lovely to just have a chat.
Cool. Well, Caitlyn, Tiana, thank you so much for jumping on. I'm really keen to see your friendship blossom on stage.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
It was so lovely to meet
you. Running a small business? Are you promoting a new show or running a theatre space? Maybe you're looking for an area to reach potential new clients. Why not advertise with us on the Theatre Thoughts podcast? We have a range of packages and prices for you to put your ad right here on the podcast. For more information, contact us at theatrethoughtsteam@outlook.com or by heading to our website, theatrethoughtsaus.online.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to the last bit of our Melbourne International Comedy Festival segment. I've saved the best to last. We have an award-winning musical comedian, an actor, a writer, a composer, and a self-confessed pessimist. She's making her long-awaited return to the festival after being locked away at Hogwarts with her hilarious original songs, killer stand-up, and a big book of things that are actually good. please welcome Gillian Cosgrove. I'm so excited to have you.
That was so nice. I was like, who is this? She sounds great.
Yeah, it's always so weird. People always say it's like, oh, it's weird hearing myself back.
Yeah, it's love. Do you know what? I could be very proud of that. I take it. 14-year-old me would be chuffed.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, we were just saying before you started shows on Monday and you're already 3 shows down.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, 3rd one tonight and then just rocking on through the full run, the whole shebang.
That's great. You're on for a while, aren't you? Like pretty much the whole festival.
Yeah, 25. It's been years since I did a full run, so I'm eating vegetables.
Yes.
Sleeping occasionally. Trying to be a grown-up about it because I used to be a lot younger when I would do it.
Yeah.
Just live on a diet of Pringles and Barocca and hope for the best.
Excellent. Yeah, sometimes you get like that. I think like that's why I'm feeling so down lately. I'm like, maybe it's because I'm just like coffee and nachos. That's like all I'm on.
Could be. But also, is Mercury in retrograde? You have to consider all the factors.
That is true. My friends keep sending me updates. I'm like, I'm sure it's in retrograde somewhere.
Yeah, it's definitely not. The massive dietary intake of corn chips. It's not that.
Yeah.
No way.
So your show's it's called Be Good. Actually Good, sorry.
It's called Actually Good, yeah.
Actually Good. So it's your long-awaited return. We're so glad to have you back. I remember when I was talking to Eve Blake last year, I asked her about artists to look out for, and your name was like one of the first names out of her mouth. She was like, she's just finishing up with Harry Potter. Like, hold on to your seats. And then I saw you in Godspell at the Haze, and I was like, that's the woman she was talking about. Right.
Spot on. I'm obsessed with Eve Blake. I love everything she does. She's a queen. She's a very good bully. She bullies me into working, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I asked her to be. It's consensual bullying, but she's top notch. She works so hard. She's so smart.
Yeah, she's insanely smart. Like, it was a pleasure talking to her. So let's talk about you. So Actually Good is the name of your show. Could you give us like a bit of a rundown of, I guess, what it's about?
Yeah. I mean, if I want to be like hella technical about it, the show is called Actually Good. There is a comma in there.
I'm sorry. I should know that.
No, you don't need to be sorry. It is my own fault. It is my own silly title. It is a bed of my own making that I must sleep in. It's a really fun show. I've only done 2 and I'm already having the best time. It's so nice. It's a show about a game that my partner and I invented on Terrible Holiday, where we asked each other to come up with a list of 10 things that we like. It's a countdown from 10 to 1. 10 is your least like, 1 is your most like. And I have a big book that I write down all these lists. I've done so many lists with my friends. I have about 50 in there. And I make a list every night with the audience. I just ask people what they like and I just chuck it in the book. And it's really nice. I've always thought my whole life that I was a pessimist. I always thought I was like quite a cynical, pessimistic person. And this is really nice, but it was actually Eve. I kind of sat down with Eve and I was like, can I read you every single bit I have for my comedy festival show? These are all the things I'm thinking about. I read her this full list and she's like, okay, well, a lot of that sounds like a big fear salad. And that's, valid. There's good stuff, but there's still good jokes in there about the fear. But she's like, I think you think you're a pessimist. And to me, I would never imagine you that way. You're my friend Jill, who I had made her do her 10 likes the day before. And she's like, you constantly in your life are just picking things up, being like, look at this. Isn't this amazing? And I never think of that bit of myself. I think it's very easy to kind of disregard the good bits of yourself, to discredit them, to be like, oh, yeah, but I'm always like that,
Yeah.
Because we're always kind of aspiring to be like better and evolve and improve. And actually like, we're actually all right, we're actually good. We've got good stuff going on. And yeah, it's so nice. And I love doing this kind of stuff where I have a chat to the audience. In the last solo show I did, it was kind of a best of, but I used to talk to somebody in the audience for the whole show and get details from them about something going on with them and write it down. And then I would write a song for them during the show and play it at the end.
What? No way. That's insane.
It's a little party trick. It's really fun. I love doing it. It's amazing the things people will tell you when you have a microphone.
Yeah. Like, do me.
I was like, I'm not a doctor. I can tell everyone about this. And also there's 100 people in the room. But yeah, so this is really nice. People have already been so forthcoming with their likes, and the things that people like and the things that they say are like beautiful and simple, but also like universal. I think on the first night, somebody's 10 was McDonald's, but only on a road trip. There's been some really good ones. Somebody talked last night about, what else we have? We had blockout blinds, jacuzzis. When your neighbor's been mowing the lawn for 3 hours and then they finally stop.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes it's about the absence of bad,
Yeah.
So it's just like a beautiful array of stuff, and it just like feels like a conversation. That means it's different every night, which I really love too. And yeah, it's just been a treat. So I'm just really excited to see how the season goes.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's like, because I know, I already, like I said before, I saw you in gospel, and I already know that you're a bloody whiz at the piano, and like your instruments are insane. So I can only picture like what you do during the show.
Yeah, it's nice. I really like it. I'm having a great time.
That's so good. And am I wrong? You're performing at the Butterfly Club, I believe?
I am. I love it. I love the club. It's the best.
It's a great venue, isn't it?
It's just kooky and wonderful. If you've never been to the Butterfly Club in Melbourne, you must go. It is like, it's like a hoarder's paradise. You know, it is full of tchotchkes. If someone in your life has given you a present that you don't want to keep in your house, sneak it in your bag and just leave it at the Butterfly Club. You still get visitation, but you don't have to make it part of your decor.
I think that's the perfect explanation of it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I went there last year because I saw two shows out. I can't remember the name of the first one, but the other one I went to was to see Gary Starr's Grease Lightning, which was just like the best show. So
yeah,
funny.
chaos.
I love him.
It's great.
Yeah, pure chaos,
they have
isn't
a
he?
really great program there this year too for festival. Gabby Bolt is on before me in the same room doing Odd Sock for the whole season. Last night I saw Jane Watt and Angela Vapier doing Jazz or a Bucket of Blood, and it is chaotic sketch comedy. Yeah, there's so much stuff that I can't wait to see. It's really exciting. They do such a good job.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask about you coming back into stand-up. Is it been something you wanted to do for a while?
Yeah, I love doing this. Most of my career is like primarily just me being myself on stage. That's a lot of what I've done for years and years and years. And then, I started to do some of the more commercial theatre-y bizzo because the novelty of paying my bills was too hard to resist. And yeah. So, I've done a couple of shows at Melbourne Theatre Company and Godspell at the Hayes, and of course the tiny indie theatre production of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child that I was in for 3.5 years.
Yeah, I think I have tickets to it when I'm coming down to Melbourne. I don't know.
Yeah. And I had the best time on that show. Like, I met amazing people. I did the coolest stuff. But sometimes in a vocal warm-up, I'd stand on the stage with the Princess Theatre looking out at 1,500 empty seats, and our vocal coach would go, just look out at the crowd and say hello. And I would say hello. And then I'll be like, oh God, I miss talking to the audience. I really miss talking to their faces. Sometimes when you're in a play, you can only do what the play is, right? So
yeah, true.
Some nights you're there and you're like, that woman has a hilarious laugh and we're just not allowed to talk about it. That's
you just got to completely ignore it. It's like safe backstage.
Everyone's eating chips. Why do we sell chips at the theatre? I don't know.
My friend said they booked tickets for it like ages ago, and they bought all of these snacks because it was so long. And then as soon as they sat down, they were like, no eating in the theatre, no eating in the theatre.
Yeah, it's a long stay. I can understand. You need sustenance for the journey. It's a durational piece. It makes sense.
Yeah. So, where did you actually learn all your skills, I guess? Is this like something you've practiced your entire life, or did it come later to you in life that you just picked up, how to be extraordinary?
Honestly, you just Google it. It's just actually really easy. I started playing the piano when I was 5, and I started doing ballet when I was 5. Spoiler, no ballet in the show. She didn't make the cut. And then I just through my teenage years, I just steadily added more and more things. I learned the flute and the trombone, and I was in all the bands and the musicals and all that stuff. And I kept my virginity intact, and that's important. Just no friends, no boyfriends, more instruments. I don't know how my parents did it. They must have thought eventually I would quit something, and it just didn't. So I had kind of always done that kind of stuff. And I started to write my own songs when I was about 19, 20, because I had a lot of feelings about boys and self-esteem. But I didn't really know what to do with them. And then I always thought I wanted to do musical theatre, which I'm still open to. Anyone, if you're listening, I'd love an audition. And so I went to WAPA, to the Western Australian Academy of Performing Arts, and I did music theatre there. And I played all my own, I would keep writing songs while I was there, and sometimes I would play them for gigs. And that's where I found out what cabaret was. It's kind of an art form, which I'd never heard of. And I loved doing that. And so, and I kept playing the piano all through uni. I would accompany people for their performances and things like that. And then when I graduated, I did this cabaret competition that meant I got to kind of write my own show and do all these festivals. And it took me a really long time before I would call myself a comedian. I would call it I'd be there's songs and there's patter or there's banter, but I would never call it stand up.
Okay.
And then about a couple of years in, I got brave enough to be like, maybe I'm a musical comedian. And then a few years later, I was like, I'm a comedian. I can say it without stuttering now. Yeah. So I'd just really like to have a job, to be honest. And I just really like all the different facets of this industry. I like doing all of it. I love writing and performing, and there are benefits to every single thing. I love accompanying. You know, I still play for auditions and I teach and things like that. One of my favorite jobs I've ever had is that I used to be sometimes the accompanist for the dance auditions for Cats when it would come out on audition.
Oh, cool.
Which I will do. I will drop any other work to go and do that again. It's my favorite gig. I love it. It's fascinating.
What was so fascinating about it?
Just being in an audition room for a dance audition is very heightened anyway. Because when people are coming into a room to do a singing or an acting audition, usually it's just them, right? So in a dance audition, there's like, I don't know, 20, 50 people in a room.
Right, they do it all together, don't they?
You do a lot of it all together. And am I allowed to talk about this? I think so. It was years ago.
Who knows?
NDA, I don't know her. Let's find out. What I loved about that show is like how quickly you just become part of the Cats world. Like I went in with like, my coffee. I was like, yeah, I'll play the same song all day. And the woman that choreographs it and teaches it, the specificity, she would just pick people out in a dance call and she'd go up to them and she'd be like, you darling, when we do this again, I want you to just be as regal as you can possibly be. Just completely regal, like you're doing equestrian. Like normally in a dance call, you're trying to get everyone to be the same. Yeah. And in Cats, they're looking for like really specific time. Is this what you thought we were going to talk about?
Oh, who knows? This is what I love about it. I love going on tangents.
But I really just love the specificity. I just found it like I'm so grateful to be an accompanist, to be like a fly on a wall in an audition room, like sometimes you can be a reader in auditions, which is where you're the person reading a scene with someone who's come into audition. Any way that you can be in an audition room if you're a performer and just get a chance to like watch what other people do in there, because it really is like secret actor's business. You don't know how everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, true.
It's the most helpful and fascinating thing. I love it. It's beautiful.
I have actually thought about just sitting in and reading, because you're right. I'm always fascinated. Not that I'm like searching to be a performer, but I'm just fascinated by the rehearsal room, especially in a professional level. Because I know obviously like from like an amateur like community theatre side, I know how that is. But from a professional level, I'd love to just see what it's like,
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing. And it's interesting because it's kind of like a little bit of a scary thing too until you've done it, like even at that level, like going into Harry Potter, I just was like, okay, like I've done some other things, but I don't know what it's like at this scale. And you go in and you have almost like the full set in the room and like huge pieces of props, and you have stage managers there from the get-go, and and you realize that also everybody's just kind of making it up as they go along, or like learning as they go along, I suppose, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a really cool thing.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on that. And we're glad to have you back on the circuit as well at Melbourne Comedy.
Yeah, me too. What a treat. What a joy.
Yeah. Do you have, one thing I wanted to ask was, do you have any kind of prospects of what you want to do with Actually Good as you take it further?
Yes. Just general touring, I guess. The nice thing is like, getting a show up. I kind of wanted to pace myself a little bit with the first show back, and because I have a bunch of other projects that I'm working on, I'm also just casually writing a musical. So that's fine. Don't worry about her. So I sort of was like, just do Melbourne, see how you go. Then you have the show and then you can just ship it out everywhere. So I'm hoping to tour it in the future. There's places I haven't done a show in years. Like I miss Perth. I really miss Perth Fringe World. I'd love to do Darwin Festival again. I'd love to do Adelaide again. I'd love to, we just all like to go to Tasmania. It's beautiful. Yeah. So take a show there.
Yeah, why not?
So yeah, I think there'll be a really nice future for it. And I'm just so excited that Melbourne's getting the first kind of run in, because I love this city.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Gillian, for jumping on. I know obviously you have the show tonight, so I don't want to keep you too long. But yeah, was there anything else you wanted to plug before we wrap up?
Just go and see shows at the Comedy Festival. Go and see someone you've never heard of. See Michelle Brazier. See Gabby Bolt.
I'm so excited to see Michelle and Gabby. Like they are my two.
Gosh.
I love them so much.
Yeah. There's just so much good stuff on, and just take a punt on somebody new. Pick something because you like the poster. Just be really brave in your choices. Go to a venue you've never been to before. Venture outside the town hall, because it's just so nice. It's just such a brilliant time of year, and just the whole city feels very alive right now, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, it's great.
And eat a vegetable sometimes.
Yeah. That's the best advice. Excellent. All right, well, thanks so much.
That's all right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much to Caitlyn Staples, Tiana Hogben, and Gillian Cosgrove for joining us on our special Melbourne International Comedy Festival podcast. You can find more information about both shows in the show notes, as well as all the other shows on offer at this year's festival. This episode was produced by Echidna Audio. Follow them on Instagram at Echidna Audio for all their audio services. Once again, if you enjoyed our podcast, leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts and head to the link in this episode's description for our Instagram account, TikTok, YouTube, and Patreon. My name's Justin Clark, and I'll see you next time here on the Theatre Thoughts podcast.
Have you ever wondered how your favorite performer actually feels? Well, here's your chance. Welcome to The Quiet Part Out Loud with me, Bobby Steggert, Broadway actor and now a therapist to a whole host of Broadway creatives. Part interview, part therapy, this is not your typical podcast. We'll go right to the heart of things with some of your favorite artists, what they still struggle with, what lessons they've learned, what they haven't figured out yet. There's enormous power in saying the quiet part out loud. Are you listening?
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.